But Honorable Elijah Muhammad allowed, taught us to study. So like in Christianity, they tell you don't study other people's information. You know what I mean? Don't study the Buddha. Don't study that. You know what I mean? That's blasphemy. Why would you want to know that? Everything you need to know is it. And in the Nation of Islam and the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it's like, yo, study everything. Read, find the history, research. You know what I'm saying? So that, like, along with my mother homeschooling me, and then coming into Islam and researching, it was perfect. It was perfect because I was prepared, and that's what set me up to like, you know what I mean, like go take my GED test. You know what I mean, and pass that to enable me to go take other schools, other classes. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I studied my Muslim brother Kevin Muhammad gave me the book The Art of Peace. That's an amazing book because it's basically written by a Japanese martial artist. I forget the discipline that he studied and taught, but he was basically like a leader in the Japanese army, and they fought, with martial arts. And so we have it like Sun Tzu, The Art of War, and the this book by Morishi something. I'll show it the picture of it, but it's The Art of Peace, and basically it's like it tells you to flow like water, right? So the art of war is kind of like step in front, you know what I mean, like telling you how to and the art of peace is like teach you how to approach life in a peaceful way, in a peaceful manner, where you want to keep the peace, but you prepared for the worst. You know what I mean? So like flow like water means that water can take any shape. It can take the shape of what it needs to take shape of, and it's always going to seek a balance. So that was what the art of peace was talking about. But one of the things about the art of peace was like standing your ground. You know what I mean? And it's like Islam, you know what I'm saying? It's like you stand your ground. You know what I mean? You don't back up and you don't go forward. You stand your ground. You know what I mean? And so that through my days in the streets and going to different neighborhoods, and I got into beef in Brooklyn too. You know what I'm saying? Cats was like, I'm sure it was just like they were just starting. You know what I mean? And they want to see testing, like, yo, let me see what this nigga about. I was, saying, when I was moving, I was like, producing, over in Brooklyn, but they was running up, like they was moving ganja, marijuana. You know what I mean? So to help pay the bills or whatever, put some food in their pockets. So anyway. So when Cass wasn't around, I would, answer the door, yo, you know what I mean, who that? Say, what you need? You know what I mean? All right, go serve them, and it was like, I think like Dimes or some good ass green Brooklyn, because Brooklyn got the best weed in New York. Well, at least at that time. I don't know about now. But especially the good God, because, the Jamaicans, you know what I mean, and the West Indians, you know what I mean, they got to connect. But the best, like, stuff that, like, with seeds and all of that, and I prefer to smoke. I don't smoke stuff without the seeds. Or that's, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm in the States and I got to, you know what I mean? But I prefer the seeds. And I always tell Cash, it's like eating watermelon. You're not going to eat a watermelon without a seed. You're not going to eat a grape without a seed. So why smoke weed without a seed? Because it's been grafted. But anyway, getting back to the art of peace. You know what I mean? So it's about, like when I was in Brooklyn, the cats came, bought like it was some gang niggas, you know what I mean? Gang, and they sent a cat to cop a dime bag of weed. Half hour later, the buzzer buzzing, and so I come down and they want their money back because their boss don't want the weed now. So I already knew this was a setup. I was like, yo, bro, like, come on, man. Like, yeah, that's one of the first rules you learn in the game. Like, yo, somebody grab something, leave, and come back, they don't get their money back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what you did, so I can't even move that again, because I'm not going to smoke it, and I'm not going to sell it. You know what I mean? You could have sprinkled something, would have did whatever. But you don't come, that's just a part of the game. You don't come back. You know what I mean? But, so anyway, man, make a long story short, that started a whole beef. And cats had to go see, like, like bigger gangsters to settle the joint, and it was crazy, you know what I'm saying? But, me and the guard, we stood our ground, you know what I'm saying? And so, they had not to, fortunately I'm alive to tell the story, because like these guys, that was the situation, was like, yo, they was killers. They was killers. You know what I'm saying? Like they, I'm gonna tell you one story, but they got a whole bunch of stories. You know what I'm saying? Whole bunch of stories. One story was they had a beef with some cats in the store, in their, in the building, and they killed the dude and tied him up in front of the building. So he was hanging in front of his building, in front of his building door. You know what I mean? As an example. You know what I mean? Another example, while we was, going through this, they had getting shooters right down the corner. You know what I mean? Like, just, running down, like, a lot of these organizations, they be having a long terror, so it's not like they do something and they get locked up next week. You know what I mean? Like, the feds will come watching for a year or 2 or 3 and let them do all types of killing and all of that, and then lock them up. So, that was, you know what I mean? That was pressure too, but not like I felt in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? But the thing was, fortunately, we was able always to stand our ground. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like, I'm walking around like I'm a tough guy. You know what I mean? It can't be challenged or anything like that. It's not that at all. Because you know what I mean. There's a whole bunch of tougher people than me. I'm not. I don't consider myself tough. It's just that when the pressure is applied to me, something in my brain don't be like, okay. You know what I mean. I'm gonna like stand up and like, you know what I mean. Nah, I don't see it like that. You know what I'm saying. But that comes from the family. You know what I'm saying. Like, as far back as, and it's the reason, how I got a light skin. I'll tell you a little story. As far back as my family can trace, goes back to slavery, and it was my grandma Sylvia Jackson. I think she was born in 1858. Yeah, it was 1858. She was born in 1858. So that was a few years before slavery ended, right? So in 1874, she was raped by a white man. And one thing too, I'm gonna stop saying white man, because I don't want you two to, you know what I mean? So what I'm going to start referring to the white man as the Caucasian, because actually white people are people that come from the Caucasus Mountains. They're Caucasian, actually, right? Remember I told you that the planet was called Asia? So everybody has name like an Asia part of their name. Like, we being black people, I'll get into that at some point in more detail, but basically we are Asiatic. Black people are Asiatic. Like, you got the Semitic people, we Semitic too. But we are Asiatic because we come from Asia. The planet's name was Asia before it was called Earth. So they come from Asia, the Caucasians, white people that they come from the Caucasus Mountains. If Russia, in between Caspian Sea and the Black Sea, go look on the map and everything, you'll see that you got to go up to Caspian Sea and the Asiatic Sea to get there. So anyway, that's where they come from. They, P Funk City G.